On to the calculator part of the review. First of all, let's make sure our calculators are in radians. And as always, let's make sure we're giving our answers accurate to the nearest thousandths place. All right, number 26, find the slope of the curve when x equals pi over 3. We know slope comes from the derivative at a point. It's the slope of the tangent line, slope of the curve. They're really all interchangeable phrases. We could do this from the graph screen or from the home screen. I prefer to do it here. I'm going to go menu, number 4, number 1. Our variable is x, and even if it wasn't, I would probably still use x. And our value is pi over 3. And I want the first derivative. And I'm just going to type in our function, which is the tangent of x over 2. And so there's the slope of the curve, which is the same as the slope of the tangent. So 0.666 or 0.667. I'll take either one. In fact, I'll take 0.66666. I would be careful that you don't assume that it's 2/3 if you're not 100% sure that it's 2/3. So I would just leave it as a decimal. So let's look at number 27. I should write that down probably. So we have 0.666 or 0.667. All right. So the next one says, here's a function. Find f prime of -7/5. F prime means the first derivative, and they would like me to find the first derivative at this x value. So it's the same question as number 26. It's just formatted a little bit differently. So I am again going to go menu 4.1. Our variable is x. Our value is -7/5. And the only thing now we have to be very careful with is how we type this in. There's a lot of parentheses. So we've got our natural log of our sine, and as soon as I get the sine in there, it adds parentheses for us, which there are no parentheses here, so they're putting one in there. The question is, where do we close it? This is why most people get this question wrong, is because, let me grab a Post-it, there is a huge difference between the sine of x plus pi and the sine of x plus pi, right? This would be a horizontal shift. This would be a vertical shift if we're thinking about graphing. So when we go type this in, they did not say the sine of the quantity x plus pi, which means we have to close the x and then we'll add the pi. Oh my gosh, I'm doing two different problems. I'm sorry. I just mixed number 27 and 28. Let's go back for a second. That is completely my fault. Oh goodness. So we're going to go back here. We'll save this conversation for later. These parentheses tell us that all of that goes in the sine. Whew. So I have the sine, probably think I'm crazy, of x squared plus pi. Good. All right, so there we have our -1.062. There's our answer for number 27. Okay, all right. Great, hey, now we can have that conversation about number 28. So number 28 says, find the value of this whole thing right here. So this really matches what we see on our calculator. So we're going to go back. Menu 4.1, our variable is x, our value now is 4. All right, so now we're on track. And now we're going to type in what I was just talking about, which is the natural log of the sine of x, close your x, and then add your pi. Okay. And now we can hit enter, making sure, again, our calculator's in radians. And so we get -0.274. I'm going to go write that down. 274. And it says, what does your answer represent? Well, we just found the value of the derivative when x equals 4. The derivative gives us the slope of the curve at that point. So we just found the slope of the graph y equals the natural log of the sine of x plus pi when x equals 4. Or we could say we found the slope of the tangent line to the graph of that function there. Okay, so all three of those questions were really asking, in my mind, the same thing. They were asking it in three different ways, with three different, similar, different functions and three different x values. But to me, all three of these are asking the same question.